Hey guys, EB here again, back with a Minecraft video this time to kind of show off a project I've been working on for several years now, and that is the project that's behind me. Now before I get started, I have to say the actual video that you're watching was pre-recorded. My computer at home is it's powerful enough to play Minecraft and even modded Minecraft, but to actually do that and record, not quite. Not at very high quality, anyways. So this was recorded on my work computer at lunch, which is offline to the internet. Hence, you're looking at Steve. But yeah, so hopefully my voiceover will kind of match what I had in my head as I was recording. Anyways, as you can tell by the shield I'm standing on, my project is the Overworld and the Dark World from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I've shown this off in screenshots, but now, as long as the quality's not too bad, I finally am going to show it off in video format. So here I'm standing on top of Hyrule Castle, and we're going to swoop down to... I'm going to try and follow the path of the game as I'm giving the tour here. So here's Link's house. You just ignore the command block. That'll take you to the... Oh, I do that first. Okay, so I forgot the order I did this in. The way that this world is set up, I started designing this as soon as they came out with the ability to create custom superflat. So I have the dark world located directly below the light world, as you see. So it's like bedrock, and then I don't remember having like 50 rock, and then mycelium in the dark world. And then as we go up to the ceiling here, and the recording software did kind of mess up a little bit, just a heads up. But once we get up to the top, we have red wool, followed by bedrock, and then 50 more stone, and then grass up top. Yeah, this part's kind of embarrassing. It didn't record very well. The computer kept messing up. Oh, I hope I get these technical issues figured out. I'd like to get a more powerful computer so I can just record this straight as I'm doing it instead of pre-recording and then yapping about it later. Anyways, so I'm going to cut up... Yeah, here's the software having a hard time. Yeah. Anyways, it didn't like the mouse moving all the way looking straight up. It kept taking the cursor off the screen. You can kind of see the little plus at the top. But basically, I'm cutting up through starting from Link's house in the Dark World, cutting straight up, and I'll pop out at the top. I think I finally just started flying and cutting here, or mining, whatever. Okay. Here we go. Flying straight up, boom, Link's house. And then I have to fix my hole. So I got all that stone. And then now we're back up. So you can see it's layered. Light world on top, dark world on the bottom. Link's house, I have to go back and redo the interior of this house. When I first started this map, I just sort of built a house and said, okay, here's Link's house. Then as I started going on, getting into Kakariko Village, I really changed the style of how I was doing the interiors and how I was mimicking the actual game using the in-game screens. Every tree in this entire world is basically a copy of that tree, all custom made, custom laid out, and I don't know if I get a good aerial view here, but when you're looking up at the world from the top, it matches as close as I could to the actual in-game map. Here's the Hyrule Castle with the path leading around. So now we got Zelda interrupting our journeys every time. Help me, I'm in the dungeon, blah blah blah. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I know there's a little bit of choppiness in the recording. Even my work computer, while it's able to record at 720, it's still slightly jerky. But the only way I could record at home is to record at 480. No, lower than that. Yeah. Anyways, when I was creating this, I painstakingly tried to recreate everything as exact as possible. Now, there are a lot of areas that I found out as I was taking the 2D world and transforming it into a full 3D world like this, that I had to kind of take some liberties and change a few things, but the overall feel, and here's an example of some of the detail. The overall feel of the entire world is the same. I was having a hard time jumping because of the little bit of lag. Like I say, I did everything I could to make it look exactly like the in-game map. We go into the castle. This is actually the second version of this castle I built. I first started playing Minecraft on the Xbox 360, and I was playing before they actually added creative in. And I built this castle out of cobblestone, but I built this entire castle in survival. That was an ordeal. But I learned a lot and was able to really refine it and make it a lot better for this, which is built completely in creative, obviously. Heading towards the back room. When I started this map, they didn't have the armor stands that are shown here. I actually had 2 iron blocks with just a skull sitting on top. So I've gone back and kind of added some things, like the banners, those weren't there. Oh, what version did I start on? I want to say 1.6, maybe 1.5 is when I started actually creating this world. That leads back to the entryway. But yeah, now this is actually running on 1.11. I've toyed with the idea of actually taking it back to 110, maybe, because I don't know if there's an OptiFine for 111 yet, but maybe taking it back, installing OptiFine, and seeing if I can get a little bit better recordings that way. We're going to head down into the dungeon area now, and you can kind of see some of the detail I put in, transitioning from the smooth stone to the cracked and mossy, adding in some cobble, trying to add as much detail in as I could. Here's where you get the map in-game, so there has to be a map there, of course. But trying to get as much detail in here as I can with pure vanilla. I've been playing a lot of modded. I love modded Minecraft now. It's kind of becoming an addiction. And I would love to do something like forge micro blocks or chisel or something like that, but at the same time I want to keep this vanilla. Because I don't know, I kind of like the feel of it. The simplicity. You see that time set. I have a command block and a daylight sensor up on the roof of the castle. I got tired of working at nighttime, not being able to see very well, and having to manually do that. Here we go. We're actually underneath the moat, I guess, around the castle right now. That's where all the water drops are coming from. But heading down, here's where you would fight the soldier to get the key, and oh, what's in that chest in game? Is that where you get the boomerang? Anyways, there's that quote-unquote key on the wall there. Another thing I would love to do is to get into a little bit of modding and just create a simple mod. I don't know, maybe like command block, if I can ever figure out that logic. But anyways, here we are in the dungeon, where we'll be fighting the last guard and rescuing Zelda. Yay. Okay, now the trek back up. We head back to the throne room. Gotta close the doors behind me. I could, yeah, go up the stairs here, take a little bit different path. This was one of the first areas in this world that I carved out, was down underneath here. You see more of the detail on the wall and the ceiling kind of going from black to gray. Even when I'm actually playing this game, I almost never go to the right side of the castle. I always go this path. I don't know why. That's just kind of the way I go. I'm weird. I even try going the other way intentionally, and it just doesn't feel right. Okay, we're gonna enter into the throne room here. I'm showing off the little bit of a balcony. But I love how this throne room turned out. The version on the Xbox works, but because I'm in creative here, I was able to go much higher. It just feels big and grand. I really like it. All the sea lanterns that are hanging everywhere for, well, I like it, except for the throne. The throne just doesn't look right. Anyways, all the sea lanterns in here used to be glowstone, and then when there was the update that changed the world, I think that was 1.8. I think when 1.8 came out, that introduced the sea lanterns. And I swapped all the glowstone in the castle out. There's the secret shelf that you push to the side to get to the sewers. Kind of had to cheat there to... It's just a stair down in the game, but that doesn't work in real 3D and make it fit. So I had a drop down to get to this height where we can actually walk through the sewers. The room where you first meet the snakes. Yeah, this is kind of a cheat to get better alignment for later. The next two rooms we go into are the rooms that should have like water that you can walk across. In other places in the world, I used lapis blocks to denote the shallow water you can walk through. I may need to come back in here and do that too, because it's just gray and kind of blah. I didn't use as many torches down here to try and keep it a little bit darker. This is the side room that you would normally have to bomb through to get to the secret chests. I, of course, have it just open. And I'll show you the secret way to get back in there, I think, once we get to the top. But now we head back up to the sanctuary, and that room we just went through is another kind of cheat to get us back up to this level. Then in here we have the room with the two, should be the things you pull out, but of course it just have levers. That one does nothing, and this one triggers the redstone to actually open up the door to get into the sanctuary. So now here we are in the sanctuary, and I'm having troubles flying again. But just using wool, trying to kind of mimic the pattern in the background. We head outside here. Always closing the door behind me. But here's the sanctuary from the outside, and the courtyard around behind the castle. Like, you can't really tell it when you're looking at, well, I think this in here, I bone mealed this grass in, just let it grow. But a lot of places where you see grass just sporadically around, I think I'd used roughly 4 grasses for every 1 in-game grass to try and make the Minecraft grass mimic exactly where the actual overworld grass is in the game. I was looking at the sanctuary here. Here is the secret entrance back into the castle area. Have to grab a key, place it down on the gray wool, and that opens up yet another redstone contraption, which is just a free fall into water. Again, in-game, this would just take you right into the castle, but things don't quite line up in reality. That tripwire we just went over just basically broke the lever and sealed the door back up. A little added in hallway. Then we get here and we drop down, and then we get our 3 chests. I think one of them has 300 rupees, I think. It's like that, bombs, and I don't remember what the other one I don't think it was a heart piece. It's actually been a while since I've played through the Legend of Zelda. Link to the Past, I should specify. Alright, back out we go. On the other side of the cemetery is another secret area underneath a gravestone, and I'll show you here in a second how to get into it. Yeah, underneath this one. I just have this lever just sort of tucked back here. This was all early in the creation of this world, so I was not quite sure how true I wanted to stick to the original. So I've hidden a few little things like that. But here's a chest where you get... Oh, is it the cloak? I think it's the cloak. Yeah, stand on the wool, hit the button, and it just pistons you back up so you can get out. I have to close the door. A little bit of OCD. Let's get over here with the one-way door. And the hole where you should lift a bush to fall through. Yeah, here's where I was saying earlier about... Oh, I guess I used wool instead of lapis. But that represents the shallow water that you could walk through, and here's where this is a fairy fountain. And then through I'm having door issues here. As you can tell by the jerkiness, there is some lag that was going on while I was recording. Okay, I mentioned earlier where I had to kind of cheat. If you look at the map in-game, the castle is actually really short and stubby. And as you can see here, it's actually quite deep when you're looking at the internal of the castle. So the side over here, which if I can get in the air, this is about 3 times as long as it should be. I had to vertically stretch the world just to make the castle fit. And I also noticed here that fire spread was on and lightning kept burning, and you'll see where this really messed things up later. Okay, quick repair, and back in the air, I think. Nope, okay, walking. There we go. So yeah, I had to stretch the world on this side, but it really worked out over in Kakariko. It made that village just feel right. It's a lot bigger, it's actually taller and wider than the in-game Kakariko. I had to remove it because squid kept hitting the pressure plate, but I do have the warps in the pools going around. Yeah, I'm working away up in the dark woods, and a squid hits that switch, and suddenly I'm on the other side of the map. It was not fun, so I took it out. Here's the fortune teller's hut. Again, trying to use Minecraft items to mimic the actual world the best I could. Alright, we're going to get into Kakariko here. And I still love the way that this village feels. The the detail I was able to get in, the size, the feel, the look, everything. I've seen a couple of other recreations of A Link to the Past in Minecraft, and they're good. I've seen one that when you're looking at it from above, it's literally pixel perfect to the overworld map. When you get down in it, it loses itself. I've seen others where it takes a little bit of liberty, makes it feel like it could be a world, but is still too close to pixel perfect. And for an actual Minecraft world that you can get into and move around in, feel like you're a part of, I haven't seen one. If I have, or if it's out there, I just haven't seen it. Um, yeah, so here we are in Kakariko. We're going down into the underground where you would have the little push puzzle to get to the all the chests, the bomb out room where you get the heart piece. We were just in the house where you meet. I'm probably gonna butcher his name. Shahara. Yeah, them. His wife is in there telling you, I don't know where he's at. Maybe someone in the village does, and so you gotta go looking for a little boy at the south. But the underground areas, even here. Here's where I used lapis. Like I say, as I went on, I changed materials. I still have to go back through and kind of fix some of the older areas and bring them up to the new, I guess, standard. Yeah, but even the white flowers you see, they're even in this world where they should be in the actual game. Secret path to get in, gets you back to the heart piece. Back out into the village. Here's the carpeted area where you would fork over 100 rubies and buy your first bottle with his little seating area. And you're probably looking at it saying, hey, there's glowstone, there's torches, there's lamps everywhere. Those aren't in the game. Well, no. Towards the end of the video, I'll kind of show you why. In each house, that's kind of too many torches in there. I need to go fix that. But I try to add as much detail as I could. Like if there's a table here, I put something that resembled a table there. And photos where there should be, boxes where there should be cartons and crates and stuff. And try to really fill it all in. Even got the building down here that you bomb your way into down by the trees. Little farm area where you get the boy that marks the map for Shahara's actual location across the world. Little shop. I have the tavern detailed out, and I really like how this tavern looks. Check it out. We go in. We have where the drunk man's sitting. Got all the chairs and a table. I couldn't fit every detail in here. Now there's where bottle number 2 is located. But because I stretched it out and stretched it wider, I was able to fit more detail in there than I would have been had I stayed closer to pixel perfect. I have the blacksmith's house over here. And I have that. Yeah. So as you can see, each tree has 4 glowstone in the top, and when the tree burns down around a bit because of a stupid lightning strike, I went into MC Edit and copied a snippet from a backup copy of this world and pasted over that. So it's actually fixed now. But yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, what? Okay, blacksmith's hut. Looks like the blacksmith's hut. We got the double anvil. They have their forge. Like I say, I tried to pack in as much detail as possible. There's no peg to knock down, but we can hop down here anyways. Get in here and get our magic cursed. And get it basically doubled in game. After you have the pixie dust? I think that's what it is. So, blacksmith area. And this sad burnout. There's a guy's house where you have to get through all the grass to get to it. So I made some of it tall grass to make it look kind of unruly. Got all his beds in there. I don't go into every single house, just kind of hit the highlights here. Bug catchers. I think this one has, this one has a little side room that you can get into. And it's really tight in here, but I got the chest that has an item. I really don't remember what it is. Where did I go from here? It's like I just recorded this earlier today, but I don't remember everywhere I went. Yeah, nice aerial view of the whole village. Heading down towards the library, the game room, and then the maze, the timed maze puzzle game thing. Yep, simple library. And everywhere in this, the entire world is meant that you should never have to jump. If there's a path to go, or if you should be able to walk somewhere in the original game, you should be able to walk there and here. That's where they got half slabs and stairs everywhere, and where it's single block high, you can jump. Where I don't want you to jump, it's 2 to 3 blocks high to try and prevent that. The twins' house that you gotta bomb your way through to make them realize, oh, maybe I should talk to the other guy. Here's the maze. And all this detail. Complete with shortcut over the fence. Yay, heart piece. And get an overhead view. That's pretty close to 100% accurate. Like I say, I tried to represent this game well and detail, detail, detail. And there's bunnies spawning everywhere. Like I say, in game, you normally don't have a down there or an up coming this direction, but that was another one of those, well, the elevations don't quite make sense, so I have to kind of take some liberties and add some depth to make the elevations in the Kakariko actually work. Here's where Flute Boy sits in place to the animals before disappearing. My sad little corner. And kind of just around this little grotto here. In some places I used fence to prevent you from going in the trees like there. Other places I used leaves to create, the illusion of shrubbery underneath that prevents you from going down. Now that heads down into the swamp, which we're not going to get to today. We're actually almost to the end, I believe. But there's back to Link's house. Then all the side paths. See, I'll try to get as much detail, and there's tall grass and flowers, and I just went bone meal crazy inside the tree areas to let it kind of just grow however it wants. The moat around the castle. And then we head back to the fairy fountain hidden behind Link's house. Simple little room with tree roots showing. Yeah, I've had a ton of fun working on this project and really enjoying it, really liking how everything's turning out. It's south to the swamp. So next time we'll head that way over to the first palace. Oh. Here's where I was trying to play with the night, but trying to fool my daylight sensor. Sometimes if you set the time after where it sets it back to 1000, it would keep it night, and it wasn't cooperating. Basically, I fly up here, set it to a... talks it to a moonlight sensor. Then I was able to... nighttime. Okay. That, what you're seeing right here, is why there's so much glowstone, so many torches and lamps and everything. When it's night, I still wanted you to be able to see the... oh, there's another spot. Still wanted you to be able to see in the world, to be able to find your way around, see all the detail and everything. So the lamps kind of detract a little bit, but overall, I think it still looks good when it's lit up like this, instead of being just pitch black with a lamp here and there. And when I finished the light world, I copied it all to the dark world, lamps and all. And because it has the roof over it, well, one, bats are spawning down here. That was an unintended side effect that is actually just awesome. When I saw that they were spawning down there, I just loved that. But it also makes this light so you're not just in a black cave everywhere. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end this off here. We'll pick up next time and hit the Eastern Palace and continue the tour on there, again following the path in-game. The entire light world is done and copied to the dark world, and that's where I'm kind of working at now, is in the dark world. So we're going to end here. Leave any comments below, like the video if you liked it, subscribe subscribe and hit the bell to get notified next time I post a video. And until then, take it easy, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.